The more research I do into West Indies cricket, is the more it frightens me. And I'm here thinking, wondering if the information that I am uncovering, if what I am learning, if those information are not available to the administrators and directors of West Indies cricket. Because if it is not, it means they are downright lazy and not doing their job. Because what I know, they should know before me. And if they know this information, and if they have their fingers on the pulse, and they are doing nothing about it, isn't downright lazy? Isn't it that they are downright lazy and incompetent? Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Cricket Forum. Welcome to the show. I really hope you're having a great day wherever in the world you may be. I am not having a good day. Not necessarily because of West Indies cricket, but because of the technology. I don't even know if I'm coming across smoothly because the technology is giving me one bag of trouble from this morning. So I do hope you're hearing me clearly, even if it is probably broken and freezing, because I am having some of that feedback. Please get yourself a nice gift this Christmas. Click the link in the video description and get yourself a nice gift. Please go ahead. It's a very nice gift. Click in the video description and purchase a nice gift for yourself this Christmas. West Indies cricket, I do not want to come here and bash the administrators every day. I do not want to come here and lambast them. I want to come here and praise them. I want to come here and talk with joy because West Indies team is winning and we're seeing good signs. Now, yesterday, we conducted a poll in this community. And we asked a simple question. Should a batsman or a wicketkeeper who have not scored a century in regional cricket represent the West Indies? The findings of those polls showed that 67%, two-thirds majority, believe that they should not represent the West Indies unless they score. And while we thank the one-third who said yes, they should, two-thirds is a huge majority. To give you an understanding of how huge a two-thirds majority is, check your constitution. There are some laws in your constitution that will require a two-thirds majority in parliament to change it. And in the case of Jamaica, the Senate, they'll have to have a two-thirds majority in parliament and a two-thirds majority in Senate to change it. So with two-thirds of the persons in the community saying that you must score 100 in regional cricket, at least one, before you can represent the West Indies. A friend like Sheldon Smith asks, there should be other criteria. He said that the average should be probably 65 or 45. And because I have an understanding and know what is happening in West Indies cricket, I set the average as low as 30. Because if you set the average at 45, trust me, there's no one playing regional cricket will be able to make the West Indies cricket team. None of our test batsmen are averaging 45, none. Neither in regional cricket or test cricket. So I set the average of 30 just because I'm a community man, I'm a democratic person, and Sheldon asks for other criteria. So I set the average at 30 and 20 matches. But 67%, which is two-thirds. Now, having done that, I started to look at the West Indies batsmen who are playing regional cricket. I started to try and see who could make that team to Zimbabwe. And so I started looking. And my research, I looked, and these are the names that generally comes up. The names that generally comes up are these. Alec Atanase, 20 match, 6 half century, no 100, average 27.57. That's one of the names that always coming up. That's one of the names that always coming up. Alec Atanase, after 20 matches, he has not scored a century. Do I wish Alec Atanase bad? No, I'm just presenting his statistics. Look, Tevin Imlach, who have a lot of time for, a Guyanese who have a lot of time for him. He has played only 7 matches. He has yet to score 100, but he has 3 half centuries, not 30, 3 half centuries. He has 3 half centuries. His average is at 31.33. So Tevin Imlach is not so bad when it comes to the average. Not that a 31.33 average is great or is acceptable. But when it comes to West Indies standard, that's one of the better averages in our regional cricket. Now, the man that I can't understand is Brandon King. Having played 32 regional matches with 3 centuries and 12 half centuries, including a big 194, and averaging 34.84, we have seen a lot of persons being rotated in and out of the West Indies team, and yet still Brandon King has not gotten a chance in that West Indies team. So the Casey Carty is another name that comes up regularly. And we must remember that under-19 World Cup that we won, Casey Carty played a key innings in that final to take us to victory. So I have a lot of respect for him, a lot of time for him, and I wish him all the best. But look at his regional average, 25. After 36 matches, he's averaged 25. Now, this is the state of West Indies cricket. These are the batsmen that we are calling for time and time again. And the one man who probably should get a chance is Brandon King. And although his average is 34.84, that is not good. That is not good enough. That is not what we want. But at the time, it is now at present is the best. Apart from Tej Narayan Chandapal and Craig Brathwaite, Brandon King, 34.84, is the next best regional batsman that we have. And yet still, they keep rotating persons in and out of the West Indies team and never yet gave Brandon King a try. What is happening? Now, there are some other names that come up generally. And these other names, before I go to those other names, there's an interesting person that I want to look at. This person, Jeremy Solanzo. And I want to be very careful when I'm talking about him because it was a very unfortunate incident that took place in Sri Lanka. Very, very unfortunate. And where he was fielding was the wrong position. He was in the wrong position. I don't see anyone field where he was fielding. And it was in the wrong position. And whosoever put him there to field should not have done that. Look back at where he was. I don't see anyone in international cricket fielding there. The feed keep breaking up, right? You're not hearing me now. You see, this is what I'm talking. You're not hearing me now. The feed keep breaking up. What the hell is happening to the technology? I'm certain that the feed is frozen. It's coming back now. I don't know what's wrong with this technology now. From yesterday morning, it has been giving me trouble. My only option is to fire my Wi-Fi provider. And that's what I'm going to do, fire them and change. I'm going to switch. At least in Jamaica, you can switch Wi-Fi provider. I won't call the name, but this nonsense and this madness must stop. But the guy who I want to look at is Jeremy Solanzo. He averages 23.62, 2 centuries and 10 half centuries after 47 matches. And as I said, I'm being very careful here. I'm sympathetic of the injured he got in Sri Lanka. I'm very sympathetic about that. And he should not be feeling in the position that he was feeling. But how comes a man with an average of 23.62 was selected for the West Indies team? How comes? How comes? Very unfortunate incident happened in Sri Lanka. I'm very sorry about it. I hope that he had fully recovered, and I saw that he has been playing for Trinidad since, so that means he has been fully recovered. And I'm not attacking Solanzo. I'm saying, how can a player with a 23.62 average went on to represent the West Indies? So, on the other hand, though, saying that about Solanzo, on the other hand, though, I want to say this. If the West Indies selectors had seen something in him that time and have chosen him to go and represent the West Indies, why have they not selected him again if they had seen something in him? I'm not I'm not contradicting myself here now. I'm saying that in the first place, he should not have been selected. But since you have selected him and he did not get a chance to prove himself, why have you just banished him? Is it that you're admitting in the first place that you have made a mistake? Is it that they're again admitting that they have made a mistake? Now, some of the other names that have came up, and these are the names that have came up that I want to look at. Jamar Hamilton, 32 years old, average 27. Monty Hodge, 35 years old, average 28. These names keep coming up. But what I'm saying, at this age, with this average, I would not select them for the West Indies team. I have nothing against these players. I have nothing. I think Jamar Hamilton is a good batsman and he should have worked hard. If he had worked harder, he would have been in this West Indies team because I think he have probably 5 or 6 regional centuries. So these are good players who I think probably never work as hard as they should have worked because of the culture that is affecting West Indies cricket. So at this age, we called for Jamar Hamilton. I heard that call. I heard the call for Montin Lynch. But I'm saying if we're going to call for these persons at that age, probably we should have called, we need to call for Leon Johnson also. We need to call for Vishal Singh also. So I don't think that we should be calling for these persons. But if we are going to mention Hamilton and Hodge, we should also mention Johnson and Singh. As you see there, Johnson have a test average of 25. And you wonder, after 9 test matches, average of 25, he's one of the few players with a first-class average of about 32. That's Lyndon Johnson from Guyana. I think he's about 35 years old, I know. But you look at these things and you wonder, with all these players rotating in and out of the West Indies team, why someone like Lyndon Johnson was not called back, was not rotated also? Why didn't he give a second chance? I'm not at this time advocating for Johnson to get a second chance. I think we should not be giving people with this low average a chance at this age. I prefer to try with someone like Athanaze, who I don't think I should pick Athanaze. I think I should more pick Imlach. I'd prefer to give somebody like Imlach a chance who's much younger and averaging just a little more than these guys. So that is my thing. Hamilton and Monty Hodge are names that mentioned very often in this community for a call-up to the West Indies team. I'm saying here now, at their age, I would not select them. And I'm saying that if we're going to call for them, why don't call for Leon Johnson also and Vishal Singh? That's the argument. But for me, these 4 guys, I would not call for any of them. Just going to take a look at your comments. I hope the technology helped me here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good. Yes, you see what I'm talking about? It is freezing. It is freezing. What is happening here? I'm not able to see. I'm not able to see your comment. I don't know. It's freezing again. I'm just not able to access your comments. Please continue the chat amongst yourself, but at this time I'm not able. I saw somebody talking about Kofi James from Antigua. I saw that comment, but I'm not able to bring it on the screen. I can see the comments, but I'm not able to bring them on the screen. Now, saying all of that, there's a name that I want to put into the picture. John Campbell. Now, John Campbell was opening with Brathwaite before he get involved in in the drugs thing and been suspended for 4 years. And I've done a video on John Campbell's suspension. It's on the home page, so you can see that video on John Campbell drug suspension if you wish to go back to it. The reason why John Campbell was opening with Craig Brathwaite all the time, John Campbell was Craig Brathwaite's pick, because although John Campbell did not have a century, in Test cricket, Craig Brathwaite used to pick John Campbell because they tend to put on a partnership a number of times above 50. So although Campbell wasn't going on to the big scores, and he only have a test average of 26.11, a first class average of 30.41, John Campbell was Craig Brathwaite picking that side, and he was the one who had picked John Campbell to open with him. But with the advancement of Chanderpaul, right, I think that this West Indies team, if John Campbell could be in this West Indies team and bat at number 3, it would be a good idea. That's just my suggestion. But having looked at the players whose names that have been called, having looked at the Zimbabwe series coming up in February, I then tried to find out when the regional first-class cricket season is going to start. My source told me that it's going to start in February. We have just got a flogging in Australia, and we're going to play Zimbabwe in February. And at that time, we're going to start our first-class season in February. And this is why I'm saying that the state of West Indies cricket is really poor. What kind of administrators do we have that we are going to start our first-class season in February, the same time when our team should be in Zimbabwe playing Test cricket? We just got a flogging. From Australia. I think our first-class season should start on the 5th of January and no later. Probably even the 2nd of January, the day after the New Year, because we want to see players like Imlach. I want to see if Imlach can score a century or 2 before the Zimbabwe series. I want to see if Atanase can score a century or 2 before the Zimbabwe series. Because without a first-class season, without a first-class matches before the Zimbabwe tour, who are we going to select? It means we are going to go back to the same players who were in Australia. If our first-class season is going to start in February, who are we going to select? Unless we are going to select the players from the T20 leagues around the world. West Indies cricket is in serious trouble. Whether you believe it or not, we do not know when our first-class season is going to start. We heard through the grapevine, no official source, when it is going to start. No official source. It's just that my source told me that it will be in February. I know that the English county season is going to start on the 10th of April. I know that, because ECB put that out there. Our information arm at Cricket West Indies, if they have the information, they don't let us get it. But even if they had put the information out there that it's going to start in February, let's say that our 4-day season is going to start in February. Why are we going to start it in February when we have a tour of Zimbabwe in February, and when we are just coming off a disastrous tour of Australia? Shouldn't we adjust that schedule and start the season earlier so that we can look at players for that Zimbabwe series? Isn't that common sense? Isn't that sensible thinking? It's common sense, Now, we may talk about other franchise cricket taking away our players. And this is another reason why West Indies cricket is in serious problem. Now, we already know, I'm just going to give you a schedule of the franchise cricket that are going to take place between January and February. Well, the Big Bash League in Australia ends on February 3. It's already going on. It starts the 13th of December. So the Big Bash League will end on February 3. It covers January. The BPL, the Bangladeshi Premier League start on January 6th and run to February. And as you see there, the South Africa 20 start on January 10th, and the International League T20 start on January 13th. And those are the cricket competitions that are going on. In these cricket competitions, there are numbers of West Indies players that are involved. In the International League T20, there are Puran, Akil Hussain, Raymond Reefer, Ravman Powell. Those are the players that are involved in the International League T20. This competition starts on the 13th of January and runs until February, sometime in February. Now, in also the South African League, which starts on the 10th of January and runs until the 11th of February, these are the West Indies players that are involved. So who are we going to select? Who are we going to select for the tour of Zimbabwe? It's the same players that fail in Australia. And when you look at it, that Mayers, Joseph, Holder, these guys won't be around for that tour of Zimbabwe. They won't be around. And some of these names are persons who are saying that should be in the test team. But they will be away playing franchise cricket and will not be participating in our regional 4-day tournament. So how are we going to select them for a test team? We are left with these same set of players. The Blackwood, the Hope, the King, the Banner. We are left with these same set of players. There's a Silver. So there's no change to the squad. And that's one of the reasons why I'm very, very worried. Because don't surprise me. It would not be a surprise. And you might not want to hear this. But I don't like when I'm getting it right. I prefer when I get it wrong. But Zimbabwe, at this time, Zimbabwe is 50-50 to win that series that West Indies is going to play against them. 50-50. And when we get closer to the series, I will give you a better prediction. But when I look at the players available, when I look at their statistics, when I look at who is not available, when I look at the performance in Australia, when I look that Cricket West Indies is not scheduling the first day series to start in January so that they can look at players and give players practice before the series in Zimbabwe. Do you really think we have a chance of winning that series in Zimbabwe? Do you really think so? West Indies cricket is in dire strait. It is in dire strait. And it is time, as Opa said, and we should all be saying it, that these administrators, these directors, it is time for them to pack their bags and go, because I cannot understand for the life of me, after the disastrous tour in Australia, why are you waiting until February to start your domestic cricket when you have a tour in Zimbabwe in February? Who are you going to take on that tour? Are you just going to pluck a name out of the hat? Wouldn't it be ideal if we could have 4 rounds of regional 4-day cricket before the Zimbabwe tour? Most of the players who are playing regional cricket are contracted to their regional board. So they would be obligated to play this cricket. Shouldn't we? What is it taking Cricket West Indies? I heard that they are liquid. They are liquid. That means they have cash. They do not have a cash flow problem at the moment. And that is not the aim. That is not the number one priority of Cricket West Indies. The number one priority of Cricket West Indies is to invest in the players and the infrastructure so that we win. So it's not about having a fat bank account and the team is losing. Because if the team is losing, that money soon dissipates. Because you already don't have a sponsorship for the front of your shirt. You already don't. So you should not be, it can't be the number one priority is to balance the books, is to have a cash in reserve. The number one priority, and I'm not saying that it's not a good thing to have cash in reserve, but I'd prefer to be in debt and the team winning more than have money in the bank and the team losing. Because if I'm in debt and the team is winning, sponsorship money will come in. Other sources of income will come in and I'll be able to pay off my debt. If I'm not winning, I'm going to start money and the money in my bank account is going to run out. So the priority of West Indies cricket, the priority of Cricket West Indies directors is to invest in the infrastructure of the region and to invest in the product which are the players. They must invest in the players and the infrastructure so that the team can win. And when you have a disastrous tour of Australia and you have a series against Zimbabwe coming up in February, and you choose not to play any regional cricket between those two series, what are you telling the people of the Caribbean? You are either incompetent, or you are not aware, or you do not know really what your job description is. And that is why these players will continue, and our best players will not be available to play in a regional 4-day cricket. And so we may call for all different players to be involved in Test cricket. But if they continue to play franchise cricket, how are we going to invite them into the Test team? They must make themselves first available to play in the regional 4-day cricket before they can be selected for the Test team. West Indies cricket is in very, very bad shape. It is in very bad shape. It's time that these administrators go and we really get someone who is interested in West Indies cricket. We have a bunch of players in the region. These are the best now. These on the screen are the best. This is not Test cricket average. This is regional cricket average. And these are the best we have. What is going to happen when they make the step up to Test cricket? What is going to happen? Hooper said we have not yet reached rock bottom. I hope he's wrong. But when you look at the names that we have been calling for and you research their averages and you see batsmen who are calling for who don't have a regional 100, and yet still we expect that when they play Test cricket, they're going to make a regional 100. How can we expect that? They may and surprise us. But the chance of them making 100 at Test cricket when they have not done it at regional level is very slim. It's very slim. Very, very slim. And as 2/3 of you said, someone who does not have a regional century should not make the West Indies team. But these are the best of what we have. Despite the debacle, the disaster of Australia, these are the best of what we have. Please, I'm asking you, slash a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Please, subscribe, please, to the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please slash a like. I hope you will have a good day. I'm going to try and take some of your comments. I hope that it is working. It is working. I'm just hoping it's freezing again. There it is. Freezing again. If not, bring Powell based on his last first class. That is Powell. You know my challenge with Powell, what turned my mind off Powell? You remember that run out that he get against Pakistan? It's freezing again. You see what I'm talking about? You remember that run out against Pakistan? That's what changed my mind from Powell. You know? That run out, it just changed my mind from Powell. I just can't get myself over that run out to pick Powell. You remember it, 007. How you doing? Good morning. More of our batsmen should be playing in county cricket in England because our system suck and no good fast bowling. Mr. Casanova 1, do you think the English county is going to pick our batsmen when their regional average is so low, when their test average is so low? That's why they would go with Seals and Joseph, because they are seeing some potentials there. But they are not going to go with our batsmen. You see, and one of the things about to get a work permit to work in England, the county will have to prove to the Home Affairs officer or whatsoever they are calling England, that the players who they are inviting him, there's no one in England as good as him to fit the position. So that's one of the criteria that they have to overcome with the Home Office before the players. And when a batsman is averaging 27, 28, and 31 in regional cricket, the Home Office is not going to give them a work permit to come and work in England, right? That's what I'm saying, 007. It should start in January. It should start. See that where I need to have a fixed date for each regional tournament, right? I can tell you now that the IPL will start by the 1st of April. Either between the 27th of March and the 1st of April, the IPL will start. I show you where all of the T20 franchise competition is going to start. I told you that the county cricket is going to start the 10th of April. You know what I cannot tell you? I cannot tell you when West Indies regional 4-day cricket competition is going to start. I cannot tell you when the CPL next year is going to start. You see what I mean? You see the difference between administrators and administrators? Do you understand? These persons already have their things planned. A question was asked of a very high official in West Indies cricket. What is Cricket West Indies budget for 2023? They could not answer that question. I won't tell you who the person is, but probably you know. What was Cricket West Indies budget for 2023? And the question has not been answered up to this time. Carrier could be a good middle order batsman. I agree with you. I would pick Carrier for Zimbabwe. And as the time draws nearer, if there's no regional 4-day cricket for me to reform my assessment, Carrier will be in my squad to Zimbabwe. But that's for another show. But I would have Carrier in the squad that went to Australia. I would have him. Good morning. Yes, 007. Yannick, a good pick. Akeem Alain. T20 and T10 can't be stopped. Cricket is going to be mostly franchise cricket within the next 5 to 10 years. That is true, Akeem Alain. That is true. That is so true. That is so true. Alzari might not go to South Africa tournament. 007, I think you're from Antigua. 007, bring back Michael Bravo. 007, we are saying that Alzari might not go to the South Africa League and play for the West Indies team. Okay, that would be good. But how much money will Alzari be giving up? How much money will be given up not to go to South Africa and play for the West Indies? Because at the end of the day, it's really you need to earn as much as you can because your career as a sportsman is a very short one. Powell should not be opening. Put him back into the middle. I remembered it. Okay, 007, you think that you remember the run out, but that's my challenge. That's my challenge. Tej Narayan will be getting a contract soon, as well as Carty and Atanes. Talks are being held based on rumors I am hearing. You see, all of those things. So where West Indies cricket really going? Who is going to play Test cricket for West Indies? I heard somebody suggest that it's time that West Indies stop playing Test cricket. I think I heard somebody saying that it's only 5 countries is going to start playing Test cricket. But why is West Indies, who you could say was one of the original members of the ICC, when we have teams like Afghanistan and Netherlands and Ireland want to become Test playing nation? Why should West Indies be going in the other direction? Because is it Test playing nations that get most of the money from the ICC? You know? Those nations that only play T20, they don't get a lot of money. They get what they get is chicken feed compared to what the West Indies get. So why would you not want to play Test cricket? Why would you not want to look after Test cricket when most of your money comes from ICC because you are playing Test cricket? So Test cricket is not bringing in money when it comes to sponsorship and a lot of money to the West Indies when it comes to sponsorship and so on. But it's because West Indies is playing Test cricket why they are getting so much money from the ICC. So why wouldn't you want to play Test cricket? Sheldon, good morning and welcome. When they pack their bags and go, who will they be replaced with? Haven't we been saying this for years and no difference despite different administrators? Do we also adjust our regional tournament? Adjust our regional tournament? That's a question I'm asking, Sheldon. What is the date? No. When you say adjust, I don't quite. Are you talking about the date? Or are you talking about instead of just play 1 round, we play 2 rounds or 3 rounds? If I am all for the 3-round regional tournament, I think that we should be playing 3 rounds of first-class cricket. Now, what need to come out of the cricket? These present administrators, they are corrupt by politicians. They are corrupt, not the politicking. I shouldn't say politician. The politicking have corrupt them, and everybody want to hold on to their seat. Nobody want to take the decisive action because they're afraid to be voted out. I shouldn't say politician. I should say politicking. The politicking that is going on. If I want a favor, I'm going to get it because you want me to give you back another favor another time. But that's one of the things. One hand wash the other. And no one is willing to take the bold decisions to move West Indies cricket forward. You remember about 2-3 weeks ago, I did a video and picked some players and I set some guidelines and some outlines that I think West Indies cricket should follow. You think if somebody look at that video and they pick out the parts of it that they like, you think they will be able to implement it? No, because there's someone will be there to say this can't work or this will have to work in my country. That's what is happening. No one is willing to take the bull by the horn and move forward. And until we have somebody to govern West Indies cricket who is not looking re-election, but he's going to say, this is my 2 years and I'm going to set the thing how the thing should be set. If when I set it, you want to vote me out, so is it. But I'm not looking any favors. I'm not looking at anybody to scratch my back. I am here to implement a program, and I'm going to implement the program whether you agree with it or not. I am going to fail implementing my program. But when my program succeeds, I am going to take full responsibility for the success. So if you don't want to come with my program, I am not asking you. If my program failed, it failed. Right, I am responsible. Run me. But when my program succeed, remember, it was my program that succeed. Adams should go. I have no doubt in my mind that Adams should go. Win this central contract 007. Or win this central contract. But aren't they on central contract already? I think these players are on central contract. I am of the view we should invite Afghanistan, Zimbabwe, Ireland, Netherlands to play in our first classes. No, they would not come. They are now full member ICC. All of these countries are now full member ICC. They have passed West Indies. And 007, let me tell you, West Indies is going to have a challenge beating Zimbabwe in Zimbabwe. A real challenge. Right now, I can tell you right here and now, I do not expect West Indies to win that series. I do not expect them to win that series. So our team that West Indies cannot beat is going to come and play in our domestic cricket. Ireland beat the West Indies in the World Cup, you forget. And they beat us 2-1 out here in a one-day series. There's teams that are going to come. I doubt if we can beat Afghanistan in a test match. No, 007. I wouldn't expect them to come 007. I wouldn't expect them to come. It better is let us invite them to play a mini ODI series, a quadrangular ODI series against the West Indies. I think that would be a better suggestion. But these teams can beat West Indies, so they're not going to come and play in our regional cricket. When West Indies were winning back in the days, we never invite no other country. That's total crap. Well, Travis Spicer. Okay. So yeah, what we need as I said, is different opinions and people to try something. We want somebody to come with an idea and run with it. Let it fail. It better you do something and fail more than do nothing. And when you are failing, it better you fail quickly. Please slash a like on the video, share and subscribe. Thank you all for tuning in. There it goes again. Freezing again all over the place. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened. Somebody tell me. The thing just keeps freezing day after day. I don't understand. There it goes. It just freezing. I don't know. Look at it.